Hi there. So today we're in my garden and we are going to be digging dahlias, and I thought I'd take you along that process. So the first thing I'm going to do is gather my supplies, which I've got some here with me: gloves, pruners, a list of the dahlias that I have and where they are, a Sharpie, and name tags. And then I'm going to grab a bunch of flats like this that I can set the dahlias in and let them dry, and then a shovel, and we'll get down to it. The reason that I'm doing this instead of leaving them in the ground, I'm in a zone 9A, so I can actually leave my dahlias in the ground. But this year I'm going to do a little bit of a different design, so I'm looking forward to just digging them up and putting them in new places. And also I accidentally planted a few of them behind some red hot pokers, so they didn't get the kind of sun that they needed, and they didn't bloom this year. So I'm going to be moving those and dividing some of the ones that have been in the ground for a while so I can give them away. Okay, so what we have going on here is we have dahlia, 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 dahlia. There's one over there, there, little one, there. This is one big one. There's a little one, a little one. There's, I think, 3 over there, and then 3 down there. And so I've just put these trays with labels on them, and I'm not digging all of them up, but I am going to dig up these 3 that are getting too shaded. I'm digging up these 2 that are really dark. I'm digging up that one that's too small, and I think maybe it's getting too shaded. And then I'm digging up that one that is not doing very well there, and that one because it's white and I want it in the back. And then those 3 because they're behind the red hot pokers and also got too shaded. So that's what I'm gonna do, is dig up those. Would you look at this clump of dahlia tubers? This is one plant. One plant. And when I planted it, it looked something like this. And it's like, I mean, it needs to be cleaned up, so, you know. The garden's looking a little more barren now. All the dahlias have been either dug up or cut down. But if you look at these clumps that got pulled up, I mean, oh my goodness. It's pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting them all divided and being able to give away a bunch. So, yay! So this mass, I'm gonna just cut it here, and have more of an idea of what's going on. This is broken, so we can just cut that off. Get rid of it. Now, there are multiple tubers here, but there appears to only be one growth point. I can't see any other eyes, so I'm just gonna leave all of these together. It's not that big. The hole wouldn't be, you know, more than my hand. So I think, and this one's broken, so I'm just gonna cut that off. And cut this piece that we don't need and this piece that we don't need, just to give me an idea of where the growth point is, and we can just cut off all the extra roots. Roots are really fibrous and very dry, so okay. And another one. So that's what I'm left with. This one, even though it has a body and a neck, it doesn't have any eyes, so it's trash. Now we go into here. Again, not very clear eyes in these. There's definitely bodies and necks, but then this is the growth point. There's another old growth point there, and might be possible that I can separate the two. Let's get this old stuff out of there. I can try doing that. That leaves that eye there. And there's another little eye there. I don't know if you could see it. And I'm gonna leave these together because I don't see really clear eyes, but I know this one is one, so I'm just gonna leave them together. I may end up having to cut this one off if I can't get it. Oh, it's broken anyway, so we're just gonna cut it off, get rid of it. No reason to keep broken pieces, it'll just harbor disease. So, again, I could just cut off these big roots. They don't need to be stored. And then this last piece, I'm gonna take a look at if I could find extra eyes. There's a little growth point there. Can't really see any growth points there. This one is broken. I'll just cut that off of there. And again, it's not very big, so I'm just gonna leave these all intact together. Put this down, no need to keep it on there. And then cut off the roots. I could probably use some snips for these small fibrous roots, but it's fine. So that's how I divide the dahlias in a nutshell. So these have all been divided and cleaned, and now they're drying by the heater so they can get stored away. So now that the dahlias are clean, I can take a Sharpie and mark them and then pack them away. So that is what I am doing right now. I have a cardboard box, recycled. It's one of these guys. And I have some old sphagnum moss that's just seen better days. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Just not as easily done with one hand as you might think. Anyway, so we're gonna make a little bed of that and put it in there, and then, oops, maybe a little more. Okay, now that there's a little nest of that in there, then I can start placing my dahlias in there. The other thing that I can use is a mesh bag like this. I think these blue ones had got garlic in them. And then I've got these much larger yellow ones that had daffodils in them at one point. So a lot of times when you buy bulbs or tubers, they'll come in these kind of mesh bags that are breathable and are good for storing bulbs that you dig. So some of the tubers will go in boxes, and some of them will go in bags. Some of them will go in bags, in boxes, who knows. Anyways, that's what I'm doing now, and I'll just show you. It's a tedious process. Obviously, you know, you don't want to watch me write 100 names, but that's basically all I'm doing. The Sharpie works really well, and it's pretty clear what this one is, and that way I'll know what it is, and I'll know, you know, if I give them away, the person who receives it will know what it is. So now I'm just going to store these up on this shelf. It's you know, in our garage above the freezers, and I still have one more flat to go, and there's actually room in this one for it. I just need to make sure I have the variety name correct. But I wanted to wrap up this video, so I was just going to show you what I did. These are all one type of dahlia, the Ahoy Matey. It's a yellow dahlia, and then I have 4 different kinds in here. All of them pinks that do it. I think it's pink and white. I'll have to double check. And then these are all black and white ones, and I did that because these are going to go into my black and white garden next year. And then I have another Ahoy Matey that just didn't quite fit in that box. It was big and gets crazy, which this one's yellow and this one's like peach, yellow, brown. It's, I don't know what it is. It's an interesting fall color. And then down here in this one, in this flat inside the mesh bags, and then I just put this flat on top, give it a little extra protection and create more of a shelf for those boxes. But in that flat is all Jenna, which is a bright pink dahlia with like a 4 to 6 inch flower. So that's the dahlia project, and I'm excited that it's done. We are done with the dahlia digging project, and you can see them stored up behind me. It doesn't look like much of anything now. I did find the name for the red dahlia. It's Envy, and now I'm all done. There's nothing left for me to do except wait for spring, or if I hear about somebody wanting some dahlia bulbs, I can give those away. I'm so glad to be done with that project. It's the last week of November, and I have lots of bulbs to plant still, and I didn't want to have to be messing with digging up bulbs too. So yeah, I think we're done with that. We store our dahlias and seeds and bulbs in this back room. It's kind of like a little hobby room on the back of our garage. It stays unheated all through the winter, and it's I have no idea what the temperature is. We don't get that cold here, but it definitely never gets above 55, and it probably stays, you know, close to like 40-ish throughout the winter. And I will check those tubers probably in another month just to see that they're not drying out. We are really close to the ocean, so our air stays pretty humid, and I don't usually have to worry about that, but I will check it, and if I need to spritz some water on it, I will. And if I don't, then I'll probably just leave them until it's time to plant in early May. If I do have to spritz some water on it, I'll probably check them again in like March or April just to make sure they're still doing okay. And yeah, that's it. So I'm going to go plant some bulbs now that I've put away these tubers, and I'll show you that in another video. But I hope you enjoyed this, and it was inspiring to get out in your garden and play in the dirt.